Fnflive, Jay Blaze, the podcast. Excited to have you guys with me another week here. Shout out to everybody who's been showing crazy love on socials. It's like I died and something is coming back. People are showing up and definitely showing love and respect, not just from here. A lot of friends from H-Town, from NGen, and doing the morning show over there. I appreciate all mi amigos out there. And today I have a friend of mine. Some people might know him, some people might not, but you should get to know him because his music is really dope. And a lot of people don't get to know more about him beyond us, the music, and they assume a bunch of different stuff. And that's why me and this guy have conversations every so often. He's award-winning. He's won a Dove, Grammy-nominated producer. He's engineered for a bunch of different people. Some people y'all be listening to on the low and don't even know. So I'm excited to have him here. He's always interesting to speak to. His perspective is different. And I think that's what makes us different as a podcast. So I want to introduce everybody to my friend, good friend for many, many years, Mr. Rey King. How are you doing, my friend?
Hey man, bless up, man. You already know. Happy to be here, bro. Chilling, humble, living life, feeling good.
It's funny to me because every time that me and you, I always have a smile when I talk to you because you always exude joy to me. It's very rarely. I mean, I've seen once or twice in my 10 years, you pissed off, sorta. I don't think all the way, but I've seen you sorta. But there's always this joy, no matter what. Like you always exude that to me. I don't know if you fake it till you make it, but it always comes off like, and this is, we talk about, I just meet you now. I'm talking about years ago. It was the same vibe, and I've always felt like that to this day. And I
Yeah,
appreciate that. But man, I wanted to bring you on because so much has changed since the last time we spoke. It's been a couple of years, maybe over, I would say, maybe 5 that we'd have a conversation. And if people go check on our YouTube way back, I mean, I've done some really interesting things with Rey King here. We've done actually where he sat down, made an intro for us for our radio show at the time here in Miami. And then also some other cool things that we've also been able to do is a freestyle on there. If you go check, he doesn't really do that much, but he did them for me. That was a while back at his house, inside his studio. And so I want to talk about what's changed with you. And before we even start, and I want to make this clear because it's really important for me to say this there, because I know some people are going to be like, why is Jay even talking to Rey King? And I'm going to hear the chatter in the comment section, which I don't hate or I dislike. I'm okay with it. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, but I'm entitled to mine too. And at the end of the day, it's really not about me. It's really about the artist. And secondly, it's about hearing what you've probably never heard from them say beyond a song or a video. And so to me, it's interesting for everybody to know up front that I told Rey King, listen, man, if I'm going to do this interview, you can attest to this. I said, look, bro, I'm going to ask you the hard questions. It might not be that I'm coming for your neck, but I'm going to be honest and ask some questions that I'm like, well, bro, I don't know if that fits what you've been telling me, or how does that even contextualize or what we've been talking about or what I thought you stood for, that kind of stuff. And so he was open. Rey King has always been with me, always 100 and being like, look, bro, I'm not running from none of that. We can sit down, we can have a conversation. You can even record it. I have no fear whatsoever. He's always been like that. That's why I respected it tremendously. I've dealt with some people that don't want that smoke and they run from that and they're just like, I don't want the conflict. I don't want to have a conversation, blah, blah, blah. But so with you, a lot has changed, man. And I'll start my first question with going, I felt like a couple of years back, music started to change for you. Like your direction totally changed. You went from, not that you, first of all, for anybody out there, if you don't know, and maybe you've heard of Rey King before, you haven't, some of the Young God stuff at the beginning, it wasn't necessarily churchy because his music has never necessarily been churchy, but
yeah.
it was more on the Christianese side, one way or another with certain things. But that's changed totally. And so I wanted to, I think after doing some homework and trying to figure out, okay, where did the transition sort of happen? So I dug back, and I looked at like 5 years back, okay? And I started to see that there was an evolvement going on where your music wasn't just English anymore, and it wasn't just hip hop, it was starting to be Latin, and it was a little more loose and a little different. Where did the change happen that you, and it might be, and I'm talking about sonically, musically, I don't know if mentally or spiritually you went somewhere else, but musically, where did the music sort of change? And where did you see, why was that change?
Mm. I would say it was simple. I got signed to a Latin label. I feel like that influenced the projects that I've released, you know what I'm saying? Because that, you know, I was trying to make something work with the music. So 5 years ago, to be exact, I signed to independent, you know, Latin label. They believe in what I could do with the Spanglish stuff like that. And I've always done the Spanglish. I just never really kind of like, I never focused on it. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
even like the first bars in Young God is I'm the Alpha and Omega, Principio y el Fin. Like
Yeah.
that's from the top. I've been that, but I never. It wasn't like my thing. Like, oh, I'm gonna make it my thing. Then, you know, as I matured and started kind of discovering certain things, even about myself, it made sense. You know what I'm saying? Like even with my name, you know, Rey King, like it's both sides. And then I'm cool on both sides. I've worked with both sides. I've been a bridge to both sides in a lot of different circles in my life. You know what I'm saying? Especially like the Latin with the American or whatever. So that definitely I would say influenced the music I put out and some of the music that I made. But I also have a lot of music that I haven't put out, you know. So there's still a lot of other, you know, sides. I've never been this simple. I feel like it's my first time trying the simple approach with music. I've always tried to make like deep music, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. But with my current situation and the label that I was on, it you know, it's music and business. So putting a face to a sound to a brand, you know what I'm saying, it takes a lot, you know what I'm saying. So that's like some of the
is there anything in that process? Because when me and you were dialoguing about having this conversation, you told me I've learned a tremendous amount in the last couple of years. Like I remember, I know you when you were out here like starving, like I need to make this happen. Like I'm tired of just making beats, doing all this stuff. Yes, certain things are happening for me, but not to the level I want. If you would have to say, were there things in this process that were overhyped, that when you got to that point, it wasn't what you expected? And what things did you not expect that were a blessing in disguise? A blessing in disguise, if you would say. I mean, that's a two-way question, but and then it'll lead me to my next question, which I'm interested in asking.
Word. Yeah, the game, you know, a lot of people always see the game from the outside, you know what I'm saying? So once they let you in the door, it's you know, you're seeing the magic tricks and how they make the magic. It kind of changes it for you. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're just watching the show, you're pretty much amazed. You might be mind blown. But when you're at the rehearsals and you're seeing how they put it together, it kind of changes your perspective on it. You know what I'm saying? And like, I feel like a lot of artists go through that. That's why, like, you know, you always hear a lot of artists complaining. They're complaining about their labels. They're complaining about the industry. They're complaining about people acting Hollywood, you know, whatever. So I feel like, yeah, I definitely encountered a lot of that type of stuff. You know, a lot of the game is all hype. A lot of the game is cap, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, damn, even these boys is capping. Like, I thought you really had it, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, nah.
It's not what I thought it was.
Yeah, and then you know, then you got your some that really got it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you know, like I've recorded a couple big names, and on the flip side, what kind of motivated me was seeing how similar the process is with some of these bigger artists, and then comparing it to my own process. And I'm like, we do the same exact thing. Like,
yeah, it's not that different.
Yeah, not at all.
Be just like, there's nothing that serious that they're making.
Yeah, nah, like it's dope. Some of them are, you know what I mean? Lil Baby, to me, he's one of the most talented rappers I recorded. You know what I'm saying? And I recorded a lot of big ones.
Yeah, like I've seen you countless times record. And would you say is his work ethic, the way he approaches work? What exactly would you say is one thing that defines him?
I think he's dope with the lyrics. Like he be really saying things, you know what I'm saying? Like if you understand his lingo and stuff, you know, he
Yeah.
from ATL, he talk a certain way, but if you understand what he's saying, he actually be saying stuff, but he don't write anything, you know what I'm saying? So he just
What do you mean he
freestyle.
doesn't write? He just top of the, like
Yeah,
Jay-Z, top of the head?
yeah. Pretty much everybody does that. I do
I
that every
heard, I saw today, I saw an interview. I forgot what artist it was. And oh, it was a Jack Harlow interview. And he was saying in Atlanta, he learned that people just punch in. Pretty
yeah,
much
yeah,
that's what they do. Like nobody's writing anything. They're pretty
yeah.
much punching in the
Bro,
whole way.
bro,
No pads, no pen, bro. Bang, bang, bang.
bro. It's it's different levels of punching in, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, okay,
So, like
okay.
Lil Baby, he'll go in and do a whole melody, like a whole pattern, which is kind of similar to what I do. I just go in, I melodize, I come up with the flow. You know what I'm saying? And then after the flow is there, how I feel like it should sound, then I fill in the blanks. He does the same exact thing. You know what I'm saying? He goes, lays down a whole flow, blah, 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 melody, blah, blah, blah. Then he goes in and fill in the blank and punches in each bar by bar. But then
Wow.
you got like the baby and he punches in like everything. Like he'll say the bar, then he'll say the ad lib, punch in, stop, and say another bar, stop, ad lib, stop. Like everything he
That's
builds it
amazing.
as he goes. You know what I'm saying? So
Regardless, I knew and I saw that. I was like, yo, this is really cool. He's doing this type of stuff. It's amazing where God is taking you to. And in that 5 year process, Ray, and this is some of the questions, and I think it'll give me like a baseline of what's really happened with you and changed. Although I know musically a lot has changed. And I won't lie, some of it is still dope. I hear some of the records. I text you as soon as I hear it. I'm like, yo, this Way record is pretty sick. Like, why is nobody really pumping this? This is pretty crazy. There's
for
a lot
sure.
of records I've heard that you make, and some of them are slept on. Like, there's songs nobody's really paying attention to because everybody knows you as this Latin artist. So pretty much that's what they're sticking to. That's the mantra, Morena, and all these other records. But would you say, when it comes to your faith, Ray, in the last 5 years, uh, has it been tested because of the fact that you're more involved into uh, per se the industry now, and you're in these circles and these groups of people that necessarily, I mean, some of them are, some of them ain't. I've heard all kinds of different stories, but how's your faith been tested, and has it changed your faith in 5 years because you're involved in the industry?
Um, I mean, I would say, honestly speaking, for me, I would say my faith got tested before that. The 5 years, like the signing, I felt like my faith had to get stronger for me to go through it. You know, I knew that this was a learning curve for me. I've been running labels and all sorts of stuff since I was 14 years old, but I never really been a part of one. You know what I'm saying? Or I never really went through the real, the real school of it. You know what I'm saying? So at the time that I got signed, I was definitely at that point. I remember I was definitely at like a very wild, you know what I'm saying, stage of my life, you know what I'm saying? The end of my 20s, I would say, you know what I mean? It was like a wild stage, you know what I'm saying? Very wild. So that's when I would say my faith was tested the most. But I definitely think that it survived. And the last 5 years, my faith is the only thing that's been able to with like hold me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Everything else is changing.
yeah.
Everything else is
Evolving,
changing.
yeah.
So
Into other things, yeah.
so the
And the
only thing
crazy thing is, a lot of people don't know this is that your father's a pastor,
yeah,
and you play the drums at church. I don't know if you do that now, but I see that you attend regularly. You're always with your family, no matter what. I've always copped that, and I know they have no fear whatsoever to tell you, hey, this is wrong, or this is a little off, or you need to. I know you, as wild as it may ever has been for you. I know you have tremendous amount of respect for both of your parents. I've seen that vividly. Like, and I've seen you in action. It's not that you act a different way. They hold a very high place in your
yeah,
personal life, away from whatever the heck you're doing musically or how much
yeah,
success you've ever had. I know
yeah,
they have a tremendous amount of influence. Have they come to you in these 5 years and because I know they support you and they're your
yeah.
biggest fans, but be honest, at any point in these 5 years, they've been like, yo, you're a little loose. This stuff is just getting a little out of hand. Maybe you need to calm it down. Or maybe like, you know how parents sometimes come to you, they may say something sort of indirectly, but they're trying to let you know something. Has that happened to you in the last 5 years?
To be real, nah. I
No.
feel like they also understand where I'm at and where I'm doing. It's like I could only probably point at Kanye for something like this because he has a similar journey to mine. You know what I'm saying? He's been chosen by God to do things and do it in a certain way. Sometimes they're gonna understand them, sometimes they're not. Sometimes it's gonna make sense, sometimes it's not. But you know, if we're looking at what he's doing today and how he's doing it and the way he's impacting the world, it makes all the sense in the world, whatever it was he went through. So it's the same with me. Like the doors and the rooms that I'm in, the conversations that I have, like, all right, so it's like you said, you know me. So that's never changed. Like who I am as a person has never changed. The only thing that's changed is that I've expressed more of me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how it is in the past and in church. And I wrote
Give me when you say something like that, right?
for example,
Although it sounds intriguing and exciting and powerful and whatever churchy where we want to use and make it sound like that.
yeah.
What does that mean? Give me an example. And you don't have to name an artist. You don't have to, but give
Nah,
me a scenario of what is, because I feel like this is important. This is why I asked this, because a lot of people say that, well, it's like you could say that superficially and be like, well, just because I'm in the room with whoever, Bad Bunny, can say it, whoever
right.
you're saying. Well, that doesn't necessarily mean he's talking to them. I want to hear an example, not for me, for others, because I feel like when we tell people sometimes that God appoints people to be in certain places, where you're never going to touch. You never will be in that door, in that surrounding with those people, because God knows you can't do that. That's not what you called to do, God. It's somebody else who is willing, might be crazier, look crazy to you, that God has chosen for that. So I want to hear an example. I don't know if you have them on top of your dome, and I'm sure you don't keep tabs of that stuff. But what I'm saying
Yeah,
is, give me an example of what that looks like being wherever
oh,
you're at.
all right. It looks like me in a room with hella drugs, people, guns, and being the only person that's locked in, that's focused. You feel me? That's official. That's not drugged out. You know what I'm saying? That's not beamed out, leaned out. That's that when the kids is asking me questions, like there's a kid named Spot him, got him, right? He had this song called Beatbox, and they did the Beatbox challenge, little dance. It was going stupid viral. So he's from Florida. I record Jit. You know what I'm saying? They asking me about all sorts of like weird, you know what I'm saying, drugs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm over here talking to them about fasting because I was fasting.
Yeah.
So I'm the type to be in the, and everybody knows I smoke. Everybody knows that I drink. Everybody knows these are things that I've never hidden, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever, you know. I also don't promote it. It's not something that I need. I don't I don't get paid by any alcoholic beverage. You know what I'm saying? Henny, you better holler at me. You know what I'm saying? Better check a Ronski, but you know, I don't promote any of that either. So whatever. Every year I fast, you know what I'm saying, for obvious spiritual reasons and physical reasons. You know, it helps to detox and cleanse our bodies. So when I'm doing that and then they see that I'm not smoking or I'm not drinking even soda or whatever, you know what I'm saying? They're like, oh, what's up, Ray? What's going on? And then I start telling them about these things, you know what I'm saying? That's just one stupid little example.
Do they, I'm guessing of from experience, what I've learned is usually they're encouraged and they're like, yo, this is crazy. This dude is showing some type of discipline or restraint to something that, you know, like even with me, I'm a heavyset dude. I'm trying to lose weight. I've lost some weight. And to be honest, like the restraint of just not eating whatever I want, whenever I want, is already a way to like, okay, there's some discipline involved. Getting up at 5 o'clock, going to the gym, that's some discipline involved. All those things. So hearing that is like, and I'm guessing people from outside that may not be in a church circle, they may look at it, well, okay, I see where that fits into it.
Yeah,
I mean, some people might say And I already can hear now the holy rollers. Well, he's not preaching to them. He's not speaking to them about Jesus. So, and it goes into
Look,
this whole spiel
look,
when in
Jesus
reality,
was
like,
Jesus wasn't speaking to them about Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Come on, like all of that stuff. I leave them boys in the past, my brother.
you,
You know what I'm saying? We are so beyond it. Like, oh man, I'm young God. If y'all don't understand that by now, it's been 10 years. Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
it's funny. I had a conversation with somebody recently before when I confirmed we were going to do this interview. I spoke to somebody I respect. He's a mentor.
Everybody's God now.
Huh?
I feel like it's like a trend. Like everybody's
Yeah, it is.
God.
It is. And I'll tell you. So the guy that I spoke to, well respected, solid dude, church dude, whatever, blah blah blah. But he's open minded. Okay. So I asked him because some dudes are closed minded. You can't even have a decent conversation without it getting to a whole nother point. So this
For
person I
sure.
asked him, I was like, look, man, I'm about to do this interview, and I'm going to speak to this dude. I didn't even say your name. And it's funny because this guy, he doesn't really talk to you a lot, doesn't know you particularly really well. Um, but he said it. He's like, I know who you're talking about. You're talking about that young guy dude. You're talking about Rey King. And I was like,
Yeah.
dang, bro. Like, how'd you figure that out? He's like, nah, man, you know what? It's sad. This is what he said. Okay, this is his words. I gotta paraphrase it, how he threw it to me, which I was a little thrown away. I thought he was gonna get super spiritual on me or give me a Bible verse and then try to come for my neck. And I was gonna be like, bro, that's not what I called you for. I was trying to hear what you thought of this perspective, this ideas, and my direction. And he said, hey, bro, it's sad that people will continue no matter what to assume he's one thing. But when you get to talk to Rey King in person, you'll realize the bigger vision of what he's trying to do. The sad part is that they're only watching a couple of videos or whatever, and they're assuming a bunch of crap without even knowing. So he said, sadly, that's just the stamp they've given him to this point. And it's sad because he's a good dude, has a good heart. Like I've spoken to him before, and I want to keep his name out of it. He's a guy that has stayed true to the beginning. And so he told me, yeah, man, I think it's a great, like just be honest and let him speak his truth. At the end of the day, like some people are gonna agree, some people are gonna be like, this is a heretic, other people are gonna be like, and so my intention wasn't that. It was more to have this dialogue because one, you're my friend, and secondly, because I feel like there's some things in between this process of these 5 years that you've been in the industry now, signed as an independent artist, that you could teach some of these artists and people in regular life. Because sometimes I've gotten to the point, and this might be bad for some people, and this is why I tell people like this podcast, this Fnflive thing is so different than when I started 10 years ago, when I was just a green dude, just jumping on radio, excited about playing music. And so I got older, I have kids, I've been married a long time. And so I have very little patience for non-fake stuff. Like I had it before, now it's just upfront. I'm 40, I don't care. Like we're gonna hear this stuff. Some may agree, some may not. My intention isn't to come for anybody's neck, but at the same time, it's to question those things. And because I say question, and this leads me to my next question. Do you think because, you know how I've heard you, maybe we've talked about this to some degree, when artists get signed, not that they change, but then they have to sort of kill their standards because they're an artist and because they're a product and a brand. Do you think you've had to do that to some degree, or you haven't, or has there been things you could have done that you were like, nah, bruh, not going all the way to that point because that's gonna not really go in like how I roll with certain things, or has it just been a free for all to this point with the last 5 years?
Definitely. It's what I was gonna say. It's what I said earlier. It's an expansion of who I am. You know what I'm saying? Like I wrote about Jazzy, but I couldn't do a video. You know what I'm saying? If I would have did a music video back then, like, and I could have had the budget and the mind to do it the way I do it right now, it's a movie, a rated R movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I feel like I got to, within those last 5 years, I got to play with that. You know what I'm saying? Now, don't get me wrong. I've always considered myself an American artist, more rapper than anything. But within the 5 years, me traveling, going to different countries and playing my music, like I've gone to Colombia, I've gone to Mexico, I've gone to Romania. I played my music. full rap songs, whatever, conscious. It could be bars, it could be trap, it could be whatever. I'm seeing the people rocking with it, but I see that they can't really rap along to it because they might not know the language. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm in Colombia and where my studio is 3 girls. They don't know English. They're like, oh, it sounds cool, but you know what I mean? So that's what got me to click and like, hold up, bro. Why am I only using one of my languages when I got 2? You know what I'm saying? Like it's more adding it, you know what I'm saying? But I would say to answer your question, nah, I think it was more of a form of expression. Some artists do go off left field with it, you know what I'm saying? And become super whatever the label wants you to be. In my case, it wasn't like that. Like I'm on an indie label, so they really let me do whatever I wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? Every record I did it, I wrote it, I produced it. Morena was written and produced by me 100%. You know what I'm saying? So I turned that in like, yo, what about a cumbia? You know what I mean? Like that's just me being creative and trying different things. Now I feel like I've come to like a more of a balanced type of sound. You know what I'm saying? I had to kind of try all of it to see which one I liked the most and what I wanted to do. And that also played a real big part with the change. You know what I'm saying? One day I did a show and I performed a song I got called Tijuana. I sent like 3 songs to the DJ or whatever. And the DJ plays Tijuana first. I'm like, nah, play one of the, you know, that was like that was supposed to be the big one, right? So I'm like, play another vibe. And she's like, this is the only one I got. So I'm like, all right. So she played that. And my set was, I was supposed to do like 20 minutes or something, you know, a couple songs. So I said, all right, I did Tijuana. I'm like, all right, well, what else could I do? So I spit a freestyle. And the freestyle is a very conscious freestyle, some typical Rey King bars, make you think, whatever. It's called If I Could. I spit it a cappella. And that grabbed the whole room. Like everybody in the room stopped what they was doing, turned towards me, started walking towards me. You know what I'm saying? Like if they was drinking, they hold up, they stopped. Like, and that showed me something. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not always what's trendy. It's not always what's the most popping sound. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's just what's real. I spit a cappella. It was real. Everybody had to look at me. They had to pay attention. They had to clap. They had to engage with me. So that also made me start to clicking, you know what I'm saying? As to what am I doing with my music? You know, I miss making that type of music. I miss making music that connects with people at a deeper level. I've always embraced my commercial sound. That's something that I feel like that's what I brought to Christian hip hop. I brought a commercial sound. Now every Christian rapper sounds like a secular rapper to me. None of them sound Christian. They all sound like, oh, regular music. You know what I'm saying? Positive music, whatever. So I feel like I did that for them. Now I want to do it again for myself. You know what I'm saying? And it won't be like within the Christian hip hop realm. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like it'll be accepted just like a lot of Christians accept Kendrick or, you know, J.
And when we
Cole.
talk about like, when we talk about acceptance and we talk about like, you mentioned Kanye, which is really interesting because to people, like I even seen comments to certain people, not even believers or Christians, just regular people. Some people feel like the music that Kanye is making at this point right now are masterpieces, like musicals. I've read some things where people are like blown away with what he's making. Other people, the people who remember Chicago Kanye, who when he started, they think it's trash. Like they don't see the art in it. They don't, it's just a musical, it's an instrumental, there's no real verse here, blah, blah, blah. And so it's interesting because even with the Christians too, like I've seen both sides. I've seen people who have embraced it and are like excited that there's even somebody professing Jesus and is so, to be honest, in certain ways, and some people might come from me, I don't care, I'm just being honest. He's doing more radical things than certain artists, than other artists have ever done. When he's using, the other day I was checking Ray and I was looking at the fact that they were showing, and these are just secular artists, they were showing Drake's numbers and Kanye's are, it's a whole nother level. Kanye is on something, his numbers, what he sells, how he, like how he sells concerts. It's just a different stratosphere. And for him to be using this pivotal moment, we so at the top of the game to profess Jesus, and he's doing it in his own unique way. Because I think at the beginning he was like a holy roller dude. You remember, like he was preaching, he had a choir and this and that. But now it's transition. He's sort of defining what he is, although he's still a Christian. I heard about like, and I'll let you answer this, but I heard like when he was renting the Dome over there in Dallas to do his sessions, he would make dudes do devotionals with him, and I was like, what? This is crazy, son. Like he had dudes that were artists, rappers that were smoking, that would come in. If you were in there and you were producing or making a beat, you had to stop what you were doing to do a devotional. Like, just think about that for a second. Some people won't stop at church on a Sunday if their mom asks them to come, dog. And this dude is using his platform to be like, yo, we about to do this devotional. Even if, I don't care if it's 2 minutes, it's a devotional to Jesus. Bro. Like say what you want. That says a lot about where he's at. So I wanted to ask you, with the transition and what you've been doing with music, and I know many times when we was talking in the past, you're like, man, I was doing that a while ago. No one was accepting it back then. Now it seems like it's a free for all and everybody's cool with it. And everybody, it's cool to like do those things. How have you seen that transition? How's it inspired you, especially the direction you see yourself going?
Oh man, it's letting me know that the plan is still in full effect. You know what I'm saying? And if it could happen for Kanye 10 years after his career, it could happen for me. You know, all I did was get better. Like that's all I've done. Picking a topic to rap about is the last of my concerns right now. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm a grown human. I almost, to be honest, feel like not doing music. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care about this no more. Like, when I wish I was as cocky as I was when I was 24, you know what I mean? Or when I was 14 and really started like chewing niggas' heads off. Like, that's what I wish I felt like that now. But I'm 34. I don't care about none of that. Like, you know what I mean? Fame.
When you say you don't care about that, so what's priority now as far as the fact that you've done some of the things you want to have done? I know you haven't got to the plateau yet, but now it feels good to at least accomplish some of those things to getting to that point. What's important now with Rey King compared to 5-10 years ago?
I would say 10 years ago, you know, God changed my life. I never was like seeking fame or materialistic crap. Like that's never been my focus. I always used it as a method of rapping dope, you know what I'm saying? And talking to a certain type of person, you know what I'm saying? Like I've always kind of had my dudes in mind when I would write my gospel. So I would use those type of terms so that it could catch their ear. But you know, I've always had that rapper spirit in me that like, I want to be at the top of the game. Like that's always that competitive. Okay, I'm on a record with whoever, like, who is it? Blessed, Chino, and this and that and this and that. All right, that's cool. I'm gonna make you reconsider your verse when you hear my verse. You know what I'm saying? Like that was always my approach with rap and all that. After I did the Love Hate demo and all, from then on, it turned into like I wanted to make music. It wasn't no more really like rapping and you know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't Black Friday no more. And I was trying to make hit records, you know what I'm saying? And
it's like I want to know the formula. I want to make this thing.
Yeah, I want to. Yeah, music. So my kind of like my hunger for making great music grew in it. And that's kind of been the journey that I've been on. You know, I've been to Romania. I've made pop songs, bro, that if you was to hear them, bro, it's crazy. You know what I mean? So I have all of that under my belt. And now my interest, you know what I'm saying, with at least when it comes to music, is my day one plan. It's God to give me something new. He hasn't given nobody else. Another part of hearing Kanye and hearing Drake and hearing all these guys and whoever's, I don't hear Rey King. Every time I press play on one of them albums, I'm scared because I be thinking God gave it to him. You know what I'm saying? Like he gave him my theory. And as close as Kanye is, like even when he dropped that gospel one, like the one that we beat him at the for, a lot of people hit me up like, yo, this feels like the Young God vibe. Like it don't sound the same, but like it feels the same. And I'm like, bro, because it's the same, because the spirit is the same. We made dope music with a Christ-like message, and we out of there. You know what I'm saying? Like other guys overthink it, they do other things. That's what we did. So, but when I press play on his, I'm sonically, I'm not hearing me. So what that means to me is there's still
There's
space.
still an
You know what I
avenue of
mean?
space there.
There's still a lane. I hear Andy, I don't hear me. I hear Cray, I don't hear me. I hear Social Club, I don't hear me. I hear J. Cole, I don't hear me. They all amazing, and they're all doing things that I would love to do. You know what I'm saying? Like they
Yeah.
all do things I love, all of them. But it's like, all right, but then what about me? And like I'll say this, I got to record Future, right? I'm a Future fan. Like I like his music. It's turn up, it's hype, whatever. So I got to meet him during the pandemic, and I got invited to go record him. And I was a little nervous because I'm a fan of him. I like his music. So the way it ended up happening, we linked up. He stepped out. I ended up working with one of his other artists. We ended up doing like 7 records. My like on my beats, me on hooks, all sorts of stuff. When Pluto come back, when Future come back, and he's hearing the records we did, is me on it. I'm thinking in my head, he's chilling. It's a vibe, girls, bunch of vibes, and they're playing all the records that we did. So I'm peeping that he's just chilling. I ain't catch his attention. It wasn't something that made him say, "Yo, what is that?" You feel me? It didn't say stop, because obviously I'm good. I'm not gonna make no bad music. That's impossible. But I ain't hit him with the "what's that?" You feel me? And that, bro, that all these little moments is what makes me say, okay, if I want to impress a man like that, I can't impress him by doing my best Future impersonation. Like, I got to impress him by being Rey King. Like, what am I going to say?
Be you, in other words.
I'm in the studio. They're telling me, yo, jump on a verse. I'm looking at them. They all iced out. They all blinged out. So what I'm gonna rap about? Ice and bling? Like I ain't had no ice. I ain't had no, you know what I mean? I mean, I do now, we blessed now, but at the time it was like, bro, I just had me, bro. It wasn't like no dollars. Like I'm in the room, still fresh as always. And I'm like, okay, so let me talk about how I'm not average. Let me talk about how I'm not the same. Let me be me, be myself, be different. You know what I'm saying? Like, Lil Baby, oh, you rap too? He kind of felt some type of way when he found out I rap. But then I'm like, yeah, but I rap in Spanglish. So I'm in my own lane. Like I got my own thing going on. He's like, okay, word. Like, so it's kind of motivated me now to put all of these little things back into perspective. Who I am. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't lose myself. I found myself. I know what I'm willing to do, what I'm not willing to do. You know what I'm saying? What's okay for my brand, was not okay. Who I want to reach and who I don't want to reach. Like, there's a bunch of people I don't want to talk to, bro. Like the same way they don't want to talk to me, the same way I don't want to talk to them, bro. And I'm fine with that. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm anti-cancel culture and I'm anti-accept everybody culture. Like I'm myself culture, and that's who I'm rocking with, because you either on the cancel everything or accept everything. Like this whole generation is wild, bro. I promise you, bro.
It is. I guess
wild, bro.
I guess what I'm getting from what you're saying, and it's interesting to hear this, because it seems like what you've been going through, or what I'm understanding, is you did that already. You know what it sort of takes. You know the formula. And to be honest, if you follow that formula, you just might be like everybody else. And you see the gap and the tremendous amount of need there is, because what you do naturally, what is you, is missing, and you haven't been able to necessarily do that.
Yeah,
So because
right.
of that, has that got you to a point where you see yourself transitioning into something new coming up, or is your music going to take a turn, or are you just warming it up for what's coming? How do you? I want to be careful how I worded that, and I was trying to be very careful.
I feel like
so I just want to make sure.
Nah,
Yeah, I stepped on it a certain way, but You
Yeah,
understand exactly what I'm trying to ask. So I just
yeah,
want to
yeah, yeah,
understand that.
for sure. Yo, I feel like we're about to take over the world. You know what I'm saying? And that's been the plan from day uno. I've added a few new tools to my belt. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like, all them steps was guided by God. You know what I'm saying? It's like when I read the Bible, bro, God guides a lot of men into crazy situations, bro. Like a
Nobody
lot
wants
of
to talk about that though.
yeah, bro, it's crazy, bro. I'm telling you, it's nuts. You know what I'm saying? Like it's nuts. So I feel like I'm one of those individuals, bro. Um, I've been in parties, I've been on yachts, I've been in this, I've been in that. Like when I'm telling you I had to hold on to my faith, bro, like I don't think it takes a certain type of person to be in a certain type of room. If you flinch, if you easily distracted, you can't be around.
Yeah,
Like,
it's gonna swallow
nah,
you up.
bro, you won't survive your own self. You won't survive yourself. You know what I'm saying? It's like me right now. Like I'm in my crib. I'm in my crib by myself. I be in my crib by myself. I could be in my crib doing all sorts of things. That's what helped me to remain sane and remain grounded in the word, bro. When there wasn't my parents around, when they wasn't around.
Yeah.
Well, like who's around now to tell me that you can't do this? Nobody, bro. I could do whatever I want.
No,
That's when it got scary.
I
That's when
guess
it got scary, bro.
no, and
That's when
I guess
whoa.
it's because how do I say this, man? And I say this humbly because there's one thing when you just talk to somebody, right? And you know what they're telling you, and it just comes off face value. But I remember vividly, man. I'll never forget a couple years ago. I remember you sleeping in a studio that you were living in. You were living there, sleeping,
Yes.
work, sleep, work, sleep, work, sleep, work. Like nobody knew this. You weren't telling nobody nothing. People would come in. They thought you just got there fresh. They know you just woke up. Like when you wanted, I see. So I know those little small details, and so to see what God has done to you to this point, for you to just have certain things and be at peace, it takes discipline. Point just in that is growth already. And we're
Yeah.
talking about life skills, dog. We're not even talking about
Yeah, yeah,
music. We're
yeah.
not talking
No,
about
for
beats. We're not
sure.
talking about none of that. We're just
Yeah,
talking about
bro.
life in general.
Yeah, yeah,
And you know,
bro.
I thought by now, I'll be honest, I thought by now you'd be married with kids. And even with
Yeah,
that, you've been disciplined and
yeah.
you've been like,
You
yeah,
don't
yo,
get my
listen, this man
busyness,
is
bro.
focused. He is
I've
not
been like,
wavering.
oh,
I
like,
mean, I'm sure by now you could have. Who knows? I know this by a
yeah.
fact, but to see all those things, I think is tremendous amount of growth. And I always respect you because of that. Do I agree with every song you've ever dropped? Hell to the no. I'll say that right
Nah,
now. There's people listening right now
nah,
like,
it's
you're a
it's
fanboy. No, there's songs I'm like, este tipo está loco. I can't show this
nah,
song to a kid. It's just,
nah.
but I understand
It's not. It's
long
not.
term. I
Not.
understand the
And
bigger
yeah, no.
vision. And not
Yeah,
everybody's
it's
gonna
not.
get it, and that's fine.
It's not meant for everybody.
It's not meant for you.
That's the part of the freedom that I had to learn with the music, to be able to express myself without having to care about that. It's not for the whole world. Taylor Swift doesn't make music for me.
It does
She
not.
don't think about me.
Not at all.
You know what I'm saying? She ain't thinking about me when she writes, and she's selling millions of records. Bad Bunny's also not thinking about me. You know what I'm saying? He's thinking about his crowd. Lil Uzi thinking about their crowd. So I had him like, okay, well, I got to think about my crowd. You know what I'm saying? And it's a balance. I got my nephews. So it's happened where I'm with artists that they like or they might know. And I'm like, yeah, listen to this record I just recorded. And it's like, oh no, I can't even let y'all hear this. This is ridiculous. Like, so I've been in those moments. So I'm like, man, so it's I can't say like right now I'm working on gathering myself to start working on this new project that I'll be releasing next year. You know what I'm saying? And it's definitely gonna have the focus of something more similar than like to what I used to do. You know what I'm saying? And as far as message is concerned, as far as like that type of approach, concept songs, and like you know, I love my parables and saying all that type of, you know, deep stuff. So right now, the scary part is there was a cancel culture back then, you know what I'm saying, as
Yeah.
well. Then, but now is a massive one. Like now is the whole world, you know what I'm saying? Like it's the whole entire world, Brody. And my message and my platform has always been the world. That's always been my goal. I never, you know what I'm saying? Like day one, it was always like, yo, I'm a, you know what I mean? I didn't want to consider myself a secular artist, but yeah, I'm a mainstream artist. Like that was always my approach, you know what I mean? From day one. Now I believe I could do it, you know what I'm saying? Like with guys like Kanye opening the door, doing what he did, Justin Bieber doing what he did.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, that's great. And it worked out. What Kendrick's doing, even with J. Cole and some of these other guys that they might not be preaching like Christianity per se, but they're preaching consciousness. So the youth is like, they're getting used to hearing messages and like, oh, snap, songs that are catered more to making people think versus making people feel, which is what Futures and Migos and, you know what I mean, those guys are doing.
Maybe,
Like
yeah.
they're more about the feeling. That's why they mumble. That's why Thug mumbles, and they don't even matter what if you can understand what he's saying. Future don't care if you understand what he's saying, because it's just the feeling. He's gonna get you to rock with him. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I've done all of it. What fills me up the most is when I connect with people on a deeper level. You know what I'm saying? And I had to go through that by performing, you know, everywhere and seeing the reaction of people. I got people that still in my DM showing me Young God CDs, like this actual physical CD picture. Yo, look, I still bump this, bro. Black Friday.
That's crazy.
That's still my favorite work of yours, bro. Or when you gonna do this? So that never stopped. Like
Yeah.
that's still in my DM till
And there's
now. And
people
I
like wait,
appreciate
there's
it.
people like excited and waiting and all that kind of stuff. Like
Yeah,
I
I
remember.
appreciate them. They're the ones that give me the hope that I could still do it. You know what I'm saying? And that I should still do it. You know what I mean? I'm like, nah, bro, these other guys got it. But then again, when I press play on their vibe, like they got what they got, but it's not what, you know, it's not me. So it's like, all right, bro, I still got a perspective. I could still say something, you know?
Yeah, you don't hear them. Man, I just want to say I appreciate you, man, for the time, the insight, the growth, some of the nuggets you gave. Um, and I'm leaving this I'm leaving this interview more with an appreciation of what your growth process has been. Even though to certain people, and you've always said this to me, Jay, I'm just not gonna be for everybody. And I'm
Yeah,
okay with
yeah,
that. And I think you've
that's
told me that since the beginning when I first met you, when you did uh when you performed at my birthday
yeah,
party on the beach years and years ago. Never
yeah,
has changed. And so there's a language, there's an understanding, there's a heart that I've always got. I feel like there's people in this city, regardless, even in Miami and Dade and Broward, even up further up, Plantation, Tamarack, all that up there, Plantation, that still the ones that know. It's like if you know, you know. Like, and that's
definitely.
cool because I feel like those people will still be the ones to be like checking people like, look, bro, you just assume all this stuff, but you don't know this dude. Like, so calm
Yeah,
down. And that's why I had to make sure not I'm at a point where I'm not worried about who is listening or who is not. I'm more like, can this bring value to people? And I feel like conversations like this do it beyond just the
okay.
music. So I want to say thank you, man, again. I look forward to next year when this thing is coming. I know you're going to make sure we have a conversation again about it because I'm excited to know that you can do what it is you do and not just have to follow some formula. There's freedom in that. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, bro. I'm excited too, man. I'm really, 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 really happy to get back to doing what I feel like is, you know, the most fulfilling thing in life to me. You know what I'm saying? And like, you know, I think that everybody that has been holding me down since then, all my real day one people, you know, I don't even like calling my bros fans or nothing, but like all them people that been really rocking with me, they communicate with me. They're in my DM, I respond. We in heavy communication, bro. They sending me pictures. This kid sent me a picture, bro, of me chilling with him backstage at the expo, at the joint you did in like, you
Yeah.
feel me? Tahoe
On A
Land, bro.
Street. Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, bro. I'm like, bro, he's like, bro, I'm this day type day one. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's a grown man I'm talking to. So I don't
That's
know who
crazy.
I'm talking to. But he showed me the picture, like, yo, this is who you remember me this way. Like I was 11 or what, I mean, whatever. Like, so stuff like that, bro. There's no award, bro, that beats that. You feel me? Like, there's no millions of views on YouTube, bro, that made me feel better than that moment right there. You know what I'm saying? Or somebody telling me, yo, this song changed my life. Or yo, I still listen to this because of this. You know, and I love the fact I can entertain. I can make hit records. I learned the formula. I learned how to do it. But you know, I want to do it with my intent, with my intention in it. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like you know, next year will be the type of year that I'll be able to do that. You know what I'm saying? You know, my contract is up, so I could really like move how I want to move. You know what I'm saying? The music business is music and it's business. You know what I'm saying? And you know, as much as I would love to share all God's grace with everyone, some of that I got to keep to myself. You know what I'm saying? So you know, I've been working on the low. You know, just gathering. I don't write songs like lyrics and stuff, bro. I write concepts down. I write ideas and song names and what they mean. And that's it. Like that's my writing process, bro. I haven't done nothing. I know who's gonna work on it. I know the producers. I don't know the features because at this point in my life, like I don't care about chasing people for anything. Like I just like working with people that want to work on, you know what I mean, on stuff. And yeah, bro, it's gonna be a great project.
Well, man, I look forward to it next year, man. We went way over what I thought we were gonna go, but I knew we needed to catch up, and I think people will get something extremely important out of this. That's why I'm excited. Again, man, thank you for your time. I appreciate you, bro. And you already know, man, I'm always listening, watching, and excited about what's to come.
Yes, sir. Me too, my brother.
All right, homie.